Hello, and welcome once again to Lehto's Law. I'm Steve Lehto, attorney at law in the state of Michigan, where I've been practicing law for 26 years in the fields of consumer protection and lemon law. I often read about this stuff for places like roadandtrack.com, and I've written a few books. Today we're going to talk about the pizza car and the fair use debate. The pizza car and the fair use debate. Over the weekend, my email inbox started to explode from people commenting and asking me about a story that was on the internet. And then David Tracy from Jalopnik contacted me and asked me for a quote. So I thought, well, I'm getting pulled into this. So let's now get involved in the pizza car debate. So what's going on here is a gentleman named Sam, who's a YouTuber, posts videos of himself rebuilding cars on the intranet. And he recently bought a wrecked pizza delivery car. And he bought it with the intention of rebuilding it. In fact, he was posting videos of himself rebuilding this car that he bought for a very small amount of money. And he mentioned that his goal was to rebuild the car, in essence, to where it would look like it did before it was wrecked. And so, as a pizza delivery car, the end result would be that he'd have a pizza delivery car. At least that would it look like. So, Sam then posted a video recently where he explained some problems he ran into recently from some people who complained about what he's doing. And the first complaint he got, and again, I've watched the videos a couple times, so I'm going off what's in the videos. And Sam has not laid out all of the facts of his case and the situation that's going on. And I don't blame him for withholding some of that because he's obviously trying to walk a very fine line here. He's trying to resolve some issues and trying to tell us what's going on. But sometimes we know that you got to sometimes keep some stuff back. But I'm simply going off what's in the video. And in the video, he said the first thing that happened was he got an email from somebody who said, your video violates YouTube's trademark rules. And as anybody would know, if you post videos on YouTube, as I do, YouTube's got a bunch of rules. And they say you can't infringe on copyrights, you can't infringe on trademarks. And if you do, there's a process whereby someone can complain to YouTube and say, we think you're infringing, blah, blah, blah. And he said that somebody said, we think you're infringing by showing video of a pizza car that's got logos on the side that are clearly trademarks. And he went back and forth a little bit on that. And now, here's the thing. His video is still on YouTube. So I'm assuming that situation resolved itself one way or the other. But it seemed to me pretty clear that simply showing a video of a car that's got a logo on the side, so long as you're not saying like I'm the official channel for these people or something, simply showing the logo as part of something that's being videotaped, that wouldn't violate the trademark rules of YouTube, I wouldn't think. But the video's still up, so I'm guessing other people agree with me. So that's the first little problem that he encountered. But that was nothing compared to what came next. He then said he got contacted by somebody who said that they were legal representatives of an organization affiliated with the previous owners of the car. And they said that there's a problem with the fact that you're rebuilding the car and it's got our trademarks on the side of it. And they said that that's inappropriate for you because you're rebuilding the car. It will have our trademarks on it, but you will own the car and not us. And so he said that they asked him if he's willing to sell the car to them. Will you simply sell us the car? And he says they gave him an offer that was kind of a lowball offer because he said he's gotten offers from other people for more money. And so it's kind of like, hey, this is America, capitalism and all that. And so obviously you have the right to buy and sell things. You try to buy low and sell high. And so if someone offers you money and someone else offers you more money, you'd sell to the person who offers you more money, not the person who offers you less, right? But he said that they made him a lowball offer, and he said, I'm not really interested in selling it for that. I mean, if he was, he would have sold to somebody else. So he said that he then got another communication, and I could be wrong about the exact order of the communications, emails, and so on, but apparently there was a bit of a discussion going back and forth via email, where somebody finally said, and this is where it gets ugly, they said, in essence, if you don't sell us the car, we are going to sue you. And in the lawsuit, we're going to seek possession and ownership of that car. We're going to sue you to get the car from you if you don't want to sell it to us willingly. So those are your choices. Either sell it to us for the price we're naming, or we're going to sue you for it. Okay? Now, here's where it gets tricky. He said they actually sent him a purchase agreement that has a dollar figure already written in, and it's the lowball dollar figure he'd already rejected from them. But the concern, of course, is how real is the legal threat from somebody who's saying we're going to sue you to get that car from you based on the fact that our trademarks are on it, okay? And that's the question. And now here's where there's a lot of confusion, and I'm not attributing this confusion to anybody. I'm simply trying to, I think, read what's on the internet in comment sections underneath the video, underneath the Jalopnik article, and elsewhere, I'm simply looking at the different comments, and I'm getting that a lot of people are confused as to what the claims are here. And a lot of people talk about the concept of fair use, okay? Fair use. And everyone who's been on YouTube is familiar with the phrase fair use. All you've got to do is click on any video, almost. Mine don't, but almost any video, and look underneath it, and someone will say, this is not my video. I'm posting it for fair use. No infringements implied, blah, 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 blah. I don't own this, but it's all fair use. And so a lot of people know there's this concept out there of fair use, and they don't know what it means or where it comes from. And 99.9% of all the videos on YouTube are posted inappropriately claiming fair use. But what fair use is the concept in copyright law, at least what we're talking about first with respect to YouTube. Under copyright law, okay, if you write something or you create something, whether it's a book or a song or a movie or a video, if you wrote a book like the Lemon Law Bible and you look at the copyright page, it says the name of the author, in this case it's me, and it has a copyright notice. I wrote the words that are between the covers of this book. I own these words. I own the intellectual property therein. Again, I'm not saying it's terribly intellectual, but I am saying that it's what they call it is intellectual property. So the Lemon Law Bible is my original work. I copyrighted it. I own it. Despite the fact that I own it and control it, if you wanted to, you could get a copy of my book anywhere, take an excerpt of it, post that excerpt verbatim, word for word, and say, here's a section of Steve Lehto's book, and here's what I think of it. You could say you loved it, you could say you hated it, you could say I'm insane, okay? You could tear it apart. But the point is that you are allowed to critique something, you're allowed to comment on something, and you're allowed to actually quote the thing you're commenting on, and that is considered one of the types of fair use. Fair use is an exception to the idea that copyright protects completely the creations of people who create things, okay? So if you want to, you can excerpt a piece of my book verbatim without my permission, without compensating me. That's considered fair use. Now, I'll be honest and tell you that intellectual property law contains these areas that have gigantic grayness in them, huge gray areas. Because the question is, how much of my book can you excerpt, okay? Can you excerpt a page? Certainly. A chapter? Maybe. Who knows? More than a chapter? Hard to say. And the law simply does not come right out and give you bright lines on things like that. And the real issue, of course, is at what point are you taking from it to fairly use and simply critique it, versus are you taking from it to profit from it, or are you taking from it in a way that will hurt me, the copyright owner? It's irrelevant for our purposes, though, because that's not the claim being made by the people who are approaching Sam. So a lot of people, knee-jerk response, assumed that when the complaint was made by the people who represented the company that previously owned the vehicle or were affiliated with them, that they were claiming he'd violated fair use by putting the trademarks into his videos. And number one, that's not even fair use with respect to copyright. That's not the issue here, okay? What they're getting at is fair use with respect to trademark. Now, in my response to David Tracy at Jalopnik, I gave him a very, very brief quote, 2 or 3 sentences, and I said, look, a lot of people appear to be confused here. They're talking about fair use, but fair use is a copyright question, and it appears that the people who are complaining to Sam about the pizza car are talking about trademarks. Now, I got some angry emails from people saying, Steve, but there's a fair use exception to trademarks. Yes, there is, but it's completely different than the fair use with copyright. So fair use with trademarks, okay, just to get this out of the way. If you look this up, Wikipedia's got a great description of it, but there's other places that describe it as well. There's 2 basic kinds of fair use of trademarks. One is nominative and one is descriptive. We'll get to that in a second, but we need to back up first and understand what trademarks are, okay? Because a copyright protects a creation of an artist. I hate to use that word when I'm talking about myself as a writer, but technically you're creating something, so that's kind of an art. A trademark, however, protects a symbol or a mark or some identifying design or device. It's not words that are being copyrighted. It's a image that's being trademarked. So the best example I can give you is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is a trademark, okay? Now, Coca-Cola is also a word, C-O-C-A-C-O-L-A. Coca-Cola is obviously a word. But if you look at the trademark for Coca-Cola, it's the script where they spelled it out in its stylized script. That's the Coca-Cola trademark. So if you were to take the trademark image, the words in its stylized script, and put them on bottles of soft drinks that you made yourself and sold them, you'd be violating the trademark of Coca-Cola, okay? But on the other hand, if you simply said, hey, I have a restaurant and I sell Coca-Cola, and I put the words Coca-Cola in the menu, that's not a violation of the trademark. I'm using the words Coca-Cola, but I'm merely describing or referring to the trademarked product, okay? And you're allowed to do that. Another example in this case, if you've seen the movie The Coca-Cola Kid, that's an obscure movie, but I love it. They even use the Coca-Cola script in the title to the movie, and then watch the credits at the end. They go, we got no permission from Coca-Cola. It belongs to them, but we're just doing this. And so that's one of the types of fair use. You can use the script or the mark so long as you're not using it in association with a product that will cause confusion. That's the whole point behind trademarks. Trademarks are designed to identify a particular product and with respect to who made that product, okay? So, I'm wearing a Petty Garage t-shirt here. I'm not sure if this is high enough for you to see it. And this shirt was made by Petty Garage. That's Petty Garage's trademark right there, okay? But it's on the shirt they sold to me, so I can do that. If I took that Petty Garage symbol off of that and put it on a product and implied that that product was associated or affiliated with Petty Garage when it wasn't, Richard Petty get mad at me. And I'd be upset because I like Richard Petty. Okay? So fair use with respect to trademark is a totally different thing. Okay? So the question is, if you had a pizza car and it had signage down the side that had a name of a pizza company on it, okay? And at one point in time, that car was affiliated with the pizza company, and the pizza company's got a fleet of cars on the road that have these trademarks on the sides of them. And then an individual came into possession of one of those cars, unaffiliated with the pizza company. And they did this legally, like buying the car at an auction, for instance, okay? The question then becomes, what right do you have as an individual to own the car with the trademarks on it? And here's the concern, I imagine, on behalf, and again, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, on behalf of the pizza company. I have to imagine that if they went to an attorney and said, hey, Mr. Lehto, what is your concern here? My concern would be, well, what happens if that guy or someone he sells the car to leaves the logos on it and then goes out and does crazy stuff with it? Drives 100 miles an hour down the road, runs people over, gets drunk and kills somebody in it, goes out and does donuts on the front lawn of a church. I mean, who knows? Crazy stuff could be done with that car. And people would look and go, hey, the pizza car's doing crazy stuff. And that would reflect badly on the company who's going to say, that's not our car. And people are going to say, it's got your trademarks on it. And so you can understand their position that the car having the marks on it is going to possibly confuse people. Because generally speaking, we think of the trademark of the pizza company being on their box. They don't put it on the pizza. They put it on the box, they put it on their store, they put it in advertising, and then they put it on their delivery vehicles, okay? And so the mark being on the delivery vehicle is a place you'd expect to see the mark saying this thing is affiliated with that company. And this particular pizza company delivers. So a delivery car with the markings on the side would imply to people that, oh, there's one of the official cars that belongs to that company. And as noted, this particular car is privately owned, not owned by the pizza company. So you can understand where that confusion might come from. So here's the question again. If you wound up, private individual, not affiliated with the pizza company, and you wound up owning a car that had the trademarks on the side, could you drive it down the street without infringing on the trademarks? And I think the answer to that is probably not, because that's what the car does. The car delivers pizzas, and if you're out driving it around, it would look like it could be delivering pizzas, except that it's not. It's just being driven by some guy who just happens to have the logos on the side because he bought the car at an auction. So that's one of the biggest issues here. Now, what I told David Tracy at Jalopnik, and what I've told other people who've asked me this question, is the problem I have with this is that the company or the people who contacted Sam, I think, however, overplayed their hand, okay? So in other words, they might have a claim, but does the claim mean that they have the right to say we're going to sue you and force you to give us that car? You know, I'm a problem solver. I'm an attorney. People come to me with problems. I try to solve their problems for them. And there's often a range of solutions to any given problem, you know, and there's also, a million ways to skin a cat, okay? Not that I want people to skin cats. But, so if you're looking at the situation here and you ask yourself, okay, someone's got a car that's got logos on the side that could infringe on the trademark of a big company wants that to not be the case. What's the obvious solution? I don't know, remove the stickers on the side of the car or paint over them? I mean, isn't that an easier solution? And, you know, I don't know Sam. I don't know what he is intending to do with the car. And I don't know if those stickers to him have value. But the question then becomes, do they have enough value that you want to litigate for a while with a big corporation? Especially when the odds of winning are not so clear. I personally think that the best solution here would be for him to say, or a person in his situation to say, you know something, I will remove the stickers from the side of the car. I'll remove the topper that says the name of the company on it, such that I will simply have a Chevrolet small car that used to deliver pizzas, but anybody walking by it or seeing it driving down the road could never guess that in a million years because it won't have anything on it indicating that it used to be a pizza delivery car. Because if it used to be a pizza delivery car, it doesn't infringe anybody's trademarks anymore. It only infringes the trademarks, arguably, if the trademarks are on the car or the thing is on the roof or something that has those marks literally on the car. And the trademark of that company is very well known. It's their name and a symbol in particular colors. So once you remove those, presumably the car is now just a car. And it seems to me that's the easiest solution. I don't know if that's something he's interested in doing, but I know that if I was him and I was in his situation and I was looking at how long my life is, my birthday was yesterday, by the way, how long my life is, and I'd go, you know, do I want to spend a few years of my life fighting a pizza company in court over my desire to use their former pizza delivery car? Or do I want to just repaint the doors, remove the thing off the roof, and sell it and move on with my life? That's what I would do. But then again, that's me. And I'm an attorney, and you know I try to avoid problems or solve them if I can, and then I try to avoid conflict if I can as well. So that's my opinion on the pizza car and the fair use debate. Fair use is not really the issue here; it's trademark infringement, and I don't think much of an argument can be made that there's a fair use of the trademark being used here because that fair use is very different than the copyright fair use most of us are familiar with. So questions or comments, as always, shoot them my way, lehtoslaw.com, LEHTOSLAW.com. I'm on Twitter, at Steve Lehto, at STEVELEHTO. And this show's on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podbean, Google Play, and YouTube. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.